Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. Again, this is Sergio here with Huntington Brass. In this video, I want to show you guys real quick our push button valve. This is the push button valve that we have, right? Two push button. We also have a three push button, but I want to go ahead and break this down, open it up, and show you guys basically everything that's inside of this valve here. The cartridge here that you see and the push button cartridges. In particular, I want to go ahead and show you guys how to replace these push button cartridges because a lot of times we do need to replace them. If it does happen, we do have them in stock. This is the actual box that the push button comes with. So you see that number there? That's the PBA 038599 box, that little white box. And when you get that cartridge, it looks like this. This is the push button cartridge, right? So when you receive it, you'll get one of these guys here. This is a push button, push it up, and then that's the replacement cartridge. So what I'll do now is I'm gonna open this guy up and show you guys the valve. But before that, I want to show you or talk to you guys about how this valve functions, right? So when you have the handle in the off position, is just basically facing down. You turn it this way, counterclockwise, cold and then hot, right? That's basically all it is, pressure balance. And then when you want to operate a unit like the shower head or the spout or hand shower or whatnot, you would push this button, it'll operate, it'll turn on your shower head. Push the button, it'll turn off. Then you push this button, it'll operate the spout or hand shower or whatever you have. You can do shared functions if you want to have both going on at the same time. You can do that. And if you want to make it legal or code compliant in California, we do have restrictors on each shower head or each hand shower that will make it code compliant if you wanted to do that. We do have that, and you can do that with this valve. But a lot of times people just have one thing on at the same time, or one thing on at a time, and then operate that way. So it's one or the other, but you can share if you want to do that. And in the three push button valve, you can do the same thing. I personally have a three push button valve in my kid's bathroom. I would not want to have all three things on at the same time because the water flow does go down significant. So you want to just have either one or two is good enough. Three, you're pushing it too much. This valve can do up to 4 to 5 gallons per minute at about 60, 65, 70 psi pressure per square inch is the actual capacity of this valve here. Now let's open it up real quick. So when you want to do it is you want to go ahead and just get a wrench, right? And you want to grab it from here. There's two little spots here that you want to just loosen that up. And then, once that's loose, just slide that thing off. And then here is our cartridge. This cartridge is our ST6000 cartridge. You can see that. On the back, you see some O-rings, right? And then at the very top, you'll see a ring here, a red ring. This is a temperature limit stop that you can actually remove and adjust. Let's say, for instance, you get a customer that tells you, hey, I'm not getting enough hot water, it's lukewarm. What might have happened is the plumber might have removed this and reinstalled it such that when the handle is turned, right, it hits the little stops here. See, there's two little stops. There's one here on the top on the side. And basically what happens is once you put this handle on, it'll turn, but it'll stop at a certain spot. So it wouldn't turn all the way. See how there's a stop here on the gray thing here? That just stops right there. So if you remove this ring, right, let's say that's removed, then in essence, you can turn the handle a little bit further and you get more hot water. Now, what could happen when you do that is now you're getting scalding hot water. So you want to reposition this ring such that you're getting, the good temperature that you want. You don't want to get it too hot, but you don't want it lukewarm. You want it just enough where you're taking a nice warm shower. Unless you like that super hot water and you're comfortable with that, then just, I would say, take it off, put it on. But this is a safety thing, for kids, older folks that you don't want them to get burned. That's what that's for. It is pressure balanced. You see there's a little piston inside there that rattles back and forth. This, if you need it, we do have them. ST6000 is the model number of this cartridge, all right? Now let's see the push buttons here, the ones that I have here. So one thing you do need is, actually two things. You need a screwdriver, right? And then you also need your wrench. So at the very top, you'll see there's two little screws, right? 1 and 2. And I'm just gonna screw it from here and remove the little rings that I have here. So what you wanna do is just loosen that up. Whoa. Loosen that up. And don't lose it, right? I just lost one. But don't lose those. Put them aside. Make sure you keep those because, like I said, when you receive the new ones, it doesn't come with these little rings and screws. So make sure that that's not lost. Make sure you hold on to that. and then remove the other one. Here's the other one. Now you see the valve looks like this. So if you want to remove those, there's two little wing nuts here on each side. So again, use your wrench again to loosen that up. Right, this loosens up. That comes out. And then now you want to just pull this guy out, right? What could happen though on new valves that are in there or been working on, this could get stuck in there, right? That makes it very difficult to remove and pull out. So a lot of times people grab a wrench, right, and try to like pull it out, which is what I would do. But what could happen is this cartridge itself can break. So if it does break, make sure you have a new one already. So I would say before you do this job, replacing the cartridge, the push button cartridge, get one of these first, right? And then work on the valve, because what I have seen is when you're pulling this guy out, it does tend to break because it is a plastic piece that's in there, right? That's all that push button it is. So if it's stuck in there, it'll be really difficult to remove. If you can remove it without breaking it, awesome. But if it does break, you have one in your back pocket, you can replace that. You have it. That's better, right? So go ahead and make sure that you do that before before you start working on this push button. Make sure you have a replacement cartridge. So then here's the other one. I loosened these up. That's why they're pretty loose to remove. They're not that loose. Usually they're pretty tight in there. And then this is the cartridge that I just pulled out. So as you can see, now the valve is pretty much wide open, right? You got pins on the bottom. You got the openings on the top. You got the service stops here as well, right, to shut off the valve before you start working on it, of course. But really, that's the valve. Here's the back part of it. Hot and cold, up and down. Arrows pointing which way. So that's pretty much the idea of this valve. So now when I have the new ones, I just want to go ahead and slide those guys in. Just slide it in there. Make sure that you put, actually, this goes first, right? You put the ring, the metal ring, the little lock nut. Hand tighten as much as you can, right? Just give it a hand tight, and then just get your wrench again, and then just give it just a little bit more turn. You don't want to over tighten that lock nut, because again, these can break as you're tightening it down. You're pressing it down. It's plastic. It could break pretty simple. So just make sure that when you're doing it, slide it in. Oh yeah, I forgot. Make sure you lubricate these little O-rings on the backside there. See that? There's some O-rings there. Just make sure that's lubricated when you push those new ones in. Put the lock nut back in there. Hand tighten again as much as you can, right? And then now that it's hand tightened, just give your quarter turn again with your wrench, and that's the idea, right? Do the same thing with the cartridge as well. At the top of that cartridge on the blue part, you'll notice that it says up and down. I mean up and up on both sides. When you get it, right? What that's for is because this cartridge can be installed upside down, 180, for back-to-back installations in certain cases. So if you wanted to do that, you can. But if you don't have that, issue or whatnot, it's fine. You can just put it back in just the same way. It'll line up with the pins. There's pins on the back of this cartridge. It'll line up with the holes. Just line that guy up. Right? Line it up, and then it'll stay in place like that. And then just put your cartridge back, or your sleeve back on, and then just hand tighten it. And what I like to do is when I'm hand tightening this guy, I like to put pressure on the top of this cartridge, right, so that it stays in place, right? Because a lot of times what could happen is as you're hand tightening it and you don't put pressure on the very top to hold it, this thing can shift, and then it doesn't make a seal on the inside, right? So it'll start leaking on you. So make sure that does seal. So that's the idea, and then just give your quarter turn again with your wrench, and pretty much you're almost done. Now I'm just going to put the little rings back on. So put this guy here, tighten it down. There, that's one. And here's the other one. We're going to just tighten this guy down again. And there you go. Now I have replaced the push buttons, and I showed you guys that cartridge inside. So this is our valve. So if you have any questions on it, go ahead and let me know. Push button valve available. Huntington Brass, we have it. 3 push button as well. This here is a 2 push. But if you have any questions, like I said, you can call me, email me, let me know. But again, Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this was informative. If you have any other questions, you need any help, just let me know. Okay, guys? Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.